Hi guys, and welcome to this week's Mental Monday. So we're gonna do it vlog style this week. I have just been really feeling like just relaxing and making things simple for the last few days since JRAD stopped, and I want to continue the series on burnout by talking about healing from burnout. I have always been somebody that took on more than I needed to, took on more than I should, and been a people pleaser. I'm very much the one that responds to outward expectation instead of inward expectation. I will always be lenient on things I am putting on myself as an expectation, but if somebody else is expecting me to do something, I will be there, and I will be there times 100. So I burn myself out really quickly that way. I wear myself down, especially if I'm not getting enough sleep on top of that, or if I'm just too spread thin, if I just have too much I'm trying to do and think about at one time. And the biggest thing that I have been working on for healing from burnout has been trying to train myself to focus on one thing at one time. So I know I talked about like shortening what you're doing, being aware of what you're doing, and if you're taking on too much, and getting rid of obligations that you just can't handle at that moment if you really just are trying to do too much at once. Sometimes it's not that you can't do it, it's that you're trying to do more than is even possible, that you're expecting too much of yourself, that you've put too much on yourself. And I am notorious for that. I am very good at that. And then I get down on myself for not being able to accomplish it. And I feel frustrated that I didn't get what I wanted to get done. And that's really silly. And I think the first step for healing from burnout and then going on to avoid it the next time is changing how you look at your tasks, how you approach what you're doing, how you tackle what you have put on yourself, and changing your thinking for looking at it realistically, not expecting too much, not saying, well, I can just figure it out, I'll figure it out somehow, because that's how you end up tired, exhausted, drained, and with nothing left to give for anything else. And you just feel depleted. You don't have the energy to continue. It takes you so much longer to recover because you completely wore yourself down. And that's what I want to stop. That's what I don't want to do anymore. The energy to continue, it takes you so much longer to recover because you completely wore yourself down. And that's what I want to stop. That's what I don't want to do anymore. And I think I'm starting that process. But to completely heal from it, you also have to give yourself that time of rest. So you have to shift back enough what you're doing to refresh yourself to start new. Don't try to start tired, and don't try to just keep going if you're really at a point where you can't go any further. And I think that's a line you have to find for yourself, is what's your line for what's too far for you. What is too much for you to handle? What is too draining, too exhausting? What's just trying to do too much? And I think that line is different for everybody. I think once you find that is really when you can start taking that inventory of everything you're doing and really have that tool of what your line is to know, okay, yeah, that's pushing it too far. That is going to be too much. And that's the really sweet spot of knowing yourself like that, is that helps it become easier to say yes or no to things when opportunities come up. So if somebody asks you to do something, you already know what you have that you're doing, and you know what your line is. So if that crosses it, you automatically can think, well, I really shouldn't. And then it's just about disciplining yourself and being good about saying no when you need to, and not feeling like you're being selfish when you're doing that, but looking at it like, I wouldn't even be able to give them what they would need if I did say yes, because I've already got too much else on my plate. I'm not going to be able to give it what it deserves. And I think that's the healthier mindset. That's the healthier way of looking at it, is like, okay, yeah, I just can't give that what it needs. I can't give that what it deserves. And they're better off finding somebody that has more bandwidth to do that, that has more resources and time and energy to put towards that, and isn't already distracted by other stuff than I am. Of course, if it's an opportunity that you are free to do, go for it. There's no shame in saying yes to something if you have the room for it. But I think I tend to lean more towards feeling guilty for saying no. And so I end up saying yes to too much. And I end up not setting that boundary with, like, I just can't take that on. And so I think that's a major part for me for healing from it, is learning to say no when I should, learning my own boundaries with it, and feeling comfortable with saying no when I need to. So I hope that was encouraging. I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave you a little more insight into my journey of burnout and how I'm trying to deal with it. I've been feeling it a lot lately, especially because I had not gotten as on top of stuff before camp started as I wanted to. So I started behind, and then by the end of the week, I was just drained. So I've got another week ahead of me that I'm very, very excited about. The kids come tomorrow, and I'm learning. I'm moving forward. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody. Share your burnout story or tips or anything like that. Questions, comments in the comment section below. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.